Hi everyone, how was your day? I hope everyone has a good day. First, let me introduce myself. I am Hardiyanti, you can call me Dian. I'm here because I will presentations to fulfill Pragmatics assignment. As you know from the title, the topic is about presuppositions and entailment. Presented by me, Hardiyanti. Let we talk about the definitions first. What is definition of presupposition and entailment? Certain information which is assumed as already known for the listeners and will not be started. That means the listeners has understood and knows the context being discussed without having to say what the context is, and much more central pragmatics in the past than now. Speakers assume certain information is already known by their listeners. This, this is part of what is communicated but not said. Presuppositions and entailments, two aspects of what is communicated but not said. We all know that presupposition and entailment are different, but what are their differences? And we will talk about that. Each has three aspects. Presupposition. The first point is the speaker assumes to be the case prior to making an utterance. Then speakers, not sentences, have it. The last, more speaker dependent nation. And entailment, the first point is something logically follows from what is asserted in utterances. In utterance, then sentences, not speakers, have it. The last is naturally logic and less discussed. Example: Mary's brother bought 3 horses. Presuppositions are: Mary exists. Mary has brother. Mary has only one brother. He has a lot of money. Entailments are: Mary's brother bought something. He bought 3 animals. He bought 2 horses. He bought 1 horse, and so on. So, from this example, we know that presuppositions makes its own assumptions before the speakers give more information, like in the last example. He has a lot of money. The word he in this sentence refers to Mary's brother. Then why the listeners make assumptions like that, even though the speakers didn't give information like that? It's because the listeners know that the price of the horses is expensive. While entailment refers more logical according to the text. Like Mary's brother bought something. Of course, as we know, Mary's brother bought 3 horses. Then he bought 3 animals. And yeah, horses is an animal, so entailment is based on the text, I think. Presupposition, the information that a speaker assumes to be already known. Implicit meanings conveyed by the speaker through the use of particular words. Presupposition is to provide a perception or prediction that is considered in accordance with the exciting use in the sentence spoken, so that it can provide conclusion or initial assumption of the speakers before making a speech, that what will be conveyed is also understood by the speech partner. Example: the Cold War has ended presupposes that the existence of the entities is it refers to, in this case, the Cold War. Various types of presupposition. The first, existential presupposition. The second, factive presupposition. The third, lexical presupposition. The fourth, structural presupposition. The fifth, non-factive presupposition. And the last, counterfactual presupposition. Notice, we consider potential presupposition, which can only become actual presuppositions in context with speakers. I will explain each of type of presuppositions shortly. The first is existential presupposition. Entities named by the speaker and assumed to be present. Non-possessive constructions. Example, Rohat's car is new. Some lexical triggers definite non-praise, like the student fall asleep, the student didn't fall asleep, and the others example. And the second is factive presupposition, identified by the presence of some verb such as know, realize, be glad, be sorry, etc. And some lexical triggers, factive verb. Lawrence realized Rana ate a sandwich. Rana regretted eating a sandwich. Rana liked eating a sandwich, and so on. The third is lexical presupposition. In using one word, the speaker can act as if another meaning will be understood. For instance, Mary stopped running. He used to running. He used to run. You are late again. You were late before. Are you still such a bad driver? You were a bad driver before. Stop, again, still, are taken to presuppose another unstated concept. Some lexical triggers, change of state verbs. Rana stopped eating a sandwich at 2 p.m. Rana started eating a sandwich at 2 p.m. Verb judgment. Lawrence blamed Rana for eating the sandwich. Lawrence faults Rana for eating the sandwich. The fourth is structural presupposition. It is the assumption associated with the use of certain structures. WH question constructions, like, when did she travel to the USA? She traveled. She traveled. Where did you buy the book? You bought the book. The listener perceive that the information presented is necessarily true or intended as true by the speaker. The fifth is non-factive presupposition. It is an assumption referred to something that is not true. For example, verbs like dream, imagine, and pretend are used with the presupposition that what follows is not true. Example like, I dreamed that I was rich. It means I was not rich. Or we imagined that we were in London. It means we were not in London. And the last is counterfactual presupposition. It is the assumption that what is presupposed not only untrue, but is the opposite of what is true or contrary to facts. Conditional structures. Example, if you were my daughter, I would not allow you to do this. It means you are not my daughter. Or, if I were rich, I would buy a Ferrari. It means I'm not rich. Next is entailment, not a pragmatic concept, but a purely logical concept. If A, then B, meaning that if A is true, then B also must also be true. Another way of pressing this is, if A is true, then B must necessarily be true, as I said before. Entailment is based on the text. And there are also entailment types. There are two types, i.e., background entailment and foreground entailment. Foreground entailment. Background entailments are logical concepts of entailment. A very large number of them exist for an utterance, while foreground entailments are the speaker can communicate, usually by means of streets, more important for interpreting intended meaning than any others. Marking the main assumption. Rover cast 3 squirrel. Rover cast a certain number of squirrel. Rover cast 3 squirrel. The focus shifts to Rover and the main assumption in that something cast 3 squirrel. Its cleft structure has a similar function. It wasn't me who took your money. And the semantic view accounts for the difference between entailment and presupposition in a truth conditional way. Presupposition. If P is false, Q is still true. My wife went to Karachi. Presupposes I have a wife. My wife didn't go to Karachi. Still presupposes I have a wife. Entailment. If P is false, then the entailment false. I saw Arif this morning. I saw someone this morning. And I didn't see Arif this morning. I saw someone this morning. Finally, we are in the end of the video. Thank you for you guys who watched this video till the end. I'm so proud of you. Keep healthy and keep learning. If you have any question, you can find me at Instagram, and my username is @h_dian0, or you can add some comment down below. And yeah, thank you guys, and I'm sorry if I had some mistakes. See you on my next video.